going to read 3 verses 1 through 18, and then pick up again 34 to 37. King Nebuchadnezzar, to the peoples, nations, and men of every language who live in all the world, may you prosper greatly. It is my pleasure to tell you about the miraculous signs and wonders that the Most High God has performed for me. How great are his signs, how mighty his wonders. His kingdom is an eternal kingdom. His dominion endures from generation to generation. I, Nebuchadnezzar, was at home in my palace, contented and prosperous. I had a dream that made me afraid. As I was lying in my bed, the images and visions that passed through my mind terrified me. So I commanded that all the wise men of Babylon be brought before me to interpret the dream for me. When the magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and diviners came, I told them the dream, but they could not interpret it for me. Finally, Daniel came into my presence, and I told him the dream. He is called Belteshazzar, after the name of my God, and the spirit of the holy gods is in him. I said, Belteshazzar, chief of the magicians, I know that the spirit of the holy gods is in you, and no mystery is too difficult for you. Here is my dream. Interpret it for me. These are the visions I saw while lying in my bed. I looked, and there before me stood a tree in the middle of the land. Its height was enormous. The tree grew large and strong, and its top touched the sky. It was visible to the ends of the earth. Its leaves were beautiful, its fruit abundant, and on it was food for all. Under it the beasts of the field found shelter, and the birds of the air lived in its branches. From it every creature was fed. In the visions I saw while lying in my bed, I looked, and there before me was a messenger, a holy one, coming down from heaven. He called in a loud voice, cut down the tree and trim off its branches, strip off its leaves and scatter its fruit. Let the animals flee from under it, and the birds from its branches. But let the stump and its root, bound with iron and bronze, remain in the ground and the grass of the field. Let him be drenched with the dew of heaven, and let him live with the animals among the plants of the earth. Let his mind be changed from that of a man, and let him be given the mind of an animal, till 7 times pass by for him. The decision is announced by messengers. The holy ones declare their verdict, so that the living may know that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of men, and gives them to anyone he wishes, and sets over them the lowliest of men. This is the dream that I, King Nebuchadnezzar, had. Now, Belteshazzar, tell me what it means. For none of the wise men in my kingdom can interpret it for me, but you can, because the spirit of the holy gods is in you. At the end of that time, I, Nebuchadnezzar, raised my eyes toward heaven, and my sanity was restored. Then I praised the Most High. I honored and glorified him who lives forever. His dominion is an eternal dominion. His kingdom endures from generation to generation. All the peoples of earth are regarded as nothing. He does as he pleases with the powers of heaven and with the peoples of the earth. No one can hold back his hand or say to him, what have you done? At the same time that my sanity was restored, my honor and splendor returned to me for the glory of my kingdom. My advisors and nobles sought me out, and I was restored to my throne and became even greater than before. Now I, Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and glorify the King of heaven, because everything he does is right, and all his ways are just, and those who walk in pride he is able to humble. Now, there's a whole bunch of stuff in there that I didn't read, but this is a great chapter. We see in this chapter that as it begins, Nebuchadnezzar has another dream. And this time he feels compelled to address the entire kingdom and tell them all about all the miraculous signs and wonders that the Most High God has performed for him. He's high on life. He says in verse 4, he was at home in his palace, he was contented and prosperous. In other words, having a good day. He was having a good day. And then he had a dream that made him afraid. Now at this point, we would say that Nebuchadnezzar has an awareness of God, but isn't fully in. He praises Daniel's God. He even brags about the miracles that he's done for him. We see in verse 9, he still calls Daniel Belteshazzar after the name of his God. You see, Nebuchadnezzar's hanging on to his other God. He just can't quite let go. He's like a lot of people in today's world, even a lot of churchgoers. He wants people to think he's in. He uses all the right words, even has a good spiritual language going, even praises God, but isn't quite ready to fully surrender and submit to the will of Almighty God. And the very fact that he's still consulting all of his magicians, enchanters, astrologers, and diviners screams that he isn't living in full submission to Almighty God. You see, one who is saved, one who's washed in the blood, filled with the Holy Spirit, doesn't need to consult any other form of higher power or meditation to try to find answers or healing. Jesus is our all in all. But that's not just a great song. It's got to be true. And as Christians, we can't fall into the same trap as Nebuchadnezzar fell into, trying to embrace God, and also holding on to all the other stuff, like a supplemental kind of stuff. We have to live as though Jesus truly is all that we need. And that's why we see Nebuchadnezzar, when he's comfortable and prosperous, having dreams that are troubling. God's trying to get through to him. It's like God's knocking on the door. And Nebuchadnezzar's like, I thought I let you in. And God's like, hey, you didn't throw everybody else out. So when none of his other guys can come, all those other guys, none of the other guys, when he once again calls upon Daniel. Now you'd think by now, Nebuchadnezzar would consult Daniel first. See, so every time Nebuchadnezzar has an issue, Daniel is the one that can fix it for him. But he still consults everybody else first, and he knows that Daniel has this is how he says it. And this makes us a little bit uncomfortable, makes me a little uncomfortable to even say it. But that's how he says that the spirit of the holy gods is in him. Now we know that that's not true. That's just how Nebuchadnezzar viewed it. There's no spirit of the holy gods. There's only one God. There's one spirit. But if Nebuchadnezzar doesn't get that yet, and saying that, he still demonstrates he doesn't get it. Daniel doesn't figure things out for him. But I said this before. God reveals things to Daniel. We don't figure things out in our own life. God reveals things to us when we fully surrender to him. And we got to do that here at Plum. We know we can't figure certain things out. But we do know we can fully surrender to him. And so we look at Nebuchadnezzar's dream. And this time he tells everybody. And he gives great details. The first dream, he didn't want to tell anybody. He made them tell him the dream and interpret. This time he tells everybody. And as he's lying in his bed, he sees a big tree. A tree grow large and strong. And it's kind of like that one. Yes? And so its top touches the sky. It was visible to the ends of the earth. Its leaves were beautiful. Its fruit abundant. It had fruit for all. Under this tree, the beasts of the field found shelter. The birds of the air lived in its branches. And every creature was fed. This tree sounds awesome. It sounds like the greatest tree ever. Who in their right mind wouldn't want to embrace this tree? It's almost too good to be true. Everyone in the world is seemingly blessed by this tree. The problem is that everyone is dependent on this tree. Everyone needs this tree. People will eventually begin to worship the hand that feeds them. Do you notice that? Because that's kind of an animal mentality. The animal is going to worship whoever takes care of it. Right? Whoever gives that dog the biscuit. Whoever feeds them, the animal's just going to love. They're food motivated. I heard that one time. Food motivated. We can work on me too. But they'll do just about anything to get you to feed them and rub their bellies. And when left to our own devices, we can be the same way. We're going to give our allegiance to whoever or whatever feeds us. Whatever makes it easier for us to get through life. And watch your TV between now and November, and you'll see the extent to which people will go to get you to vote for them. They're going to try to rub your belly and tell you all kinds of neat things that are going to make you vote for them. That's how it works. They think that we're animals. They think that the more they feed us, the more we'll listen to them, the more we'll obey them. The more things they promise us, the more likely we are to vote for them. Unfortunately, that often works. Everyone wants to be that tree that Nebuchadnezzar saw, that everybody else depends on. The people, they want people to depend on them. It makes them feel necessary and important. And the people are too often more than happy to oblige, and too many of them want something for nothing. People want minimum benefit or maximum benefit, minimum effort. It doesn't work that way. We talk about praying for the kids as they start their fall sports. Well, you know which team's going to be the most successful team? The team that works the hardest. You want maximum benefit, maximum effort. God doesn't want to, he's not going to give us maximum benefit with minimum effort. You can't do the bare minimum and expect to be successful. In Nebuchadnezzar's dream, he sees a messenger, a holy one coming down from heaven. And this holy one calls out in a loud voice, cut down the tree. That tree that everybody in the world is depending upon. Cut down the tree. Trim off its branches, strip off its leaves, and scatter its fruit. Let the animals flee from under it and the birds from its branches, but let the stump and its fruit bound with iron and bronze remain in the ground and grass of the field. In other words, this thing that everybody's totally dependent on, this thing that nobody can live without, cut it down. Doesn't need to be there because it's getting in the way of God. Because who is our all in all? Not the tree, God. Anything that gets in the way of God can only have one purpose. to be cut down and destroyed. That's a troubling dream for the king, because the king's the tree. He represents the tree. And the best thing that can happen for that kingdom is the tree be cut down. That isn't what Nebuchadnezzar wants to hear. That's not a good thing for him. But then the dream takes it a step further. Verse 15 says, let him be drenched with the dew of heaven. Let him live with the animals among the plants of the earth. Let his mind be changed from that of man. Let him be given the mind of an animal, till 7 times pass by for him. The angels announce this. Holy ones declare it, so that those who live here may know that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdom of men, and gives them to anyone he wishes, and sets over them the lowliest of men. Now that's hard for any king to come to grips with. That he puts the lowliest of folks in charge. That's not how people want things to work. They want the most powerful people to be in charge. God, what's that song? How's that song go? Kings and kingdoms will all pass away. But there's something about that name. Who is God? Who put the king in place in the first place? So if you think you rose to the position you're in because you somehow did something great, then God put you there. And if you fail to acknowledge that, stand back. Because you're going to hear the rum, 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 rum. That's a chainsaw coming to cut down the tree. This isn't hard for Daniel and Perker. God is bringing Nebuchadnezzar down. He's going to be driven away from people and live like a wild animal for 7 years. Until he acknowledges that the Most High is sovereign over the kingdoms of the earth. Until the big king recognizes the heavenly king, it's not going to go good for him. And verse 26 tells us that this stump's going to be left with its roots. And that's pretty cool, because that indicates that God's going to restore the kingdom. Did you ever cut down a tree and leave a stump? Only to see the falling tree, what happens? It starts to shoot up another sprout. Because that tree wants to grow back. That's just what trees do. It's going to work that way. God's going to raise up another earthly king. It happens. And again, not hard to interpret. But the stump is he's going to get the kingdom restored here. Once he acknowledges that heaven rules. Verse 26 tells us that. Once you acknowledge that heaven rules. Daniel's advice then to King Nebuchadnezzar is simply this. Now try to imagine standing in front of the. It's one thing, we have a president, other countries have presidents and leaders. This guy's the king. Okay, of basically the known world at that point. And Daniel said, listen, Nebuchadnezzar, my advice for you is to renounce your sins by doing what's right, and your wickedness by being kind to the oppressed. It may be then that your prosperity will continue. Imagine having the opportunity to stand in front of the world leader and say, hey, stop doing it wrong, you get it right. Everything in this dream was fulfilled. Nebuchadnezzar suffered the fate of the tree. His kingdom was taken away, and he lived among the wild beasts for 7 years. We pick things back up in verse 34. At the end of the time, when Nebuchadnezzar raised his eyes toward heaven, and really try to let's be fly on the wall. You get flying wheels in these days. Raises his eyes toward heaven, and his sanity was restored. And he praised the Most High. He honored and glorified him who lives forever. He realized his place in the world. Nebuchadnezzar realized that he's the same peon as the people that also enter into his kingdom. He was the king of Babylon, yeah, but only because God made him king. He wasn't God. And only when he realized and recognized that reality, that he wasn't God, was his kingdom restored to him. Verse 37 says, and this is a great verse, now, get this, now I, King Nebuchadnezzar, praise and exalt and glorify the King of heaven, because everything he does is right, and all his ways are just. And those who walk in pride, he's able to humble. Wow. All of a sudden, Nebuchadnezzar gets it. Doesn't he? I dare say we've had a salvation experience here in Nebuchadnezzar. He understands that he isn't God, and he exalts the one who is God. Sounds like he just got saved. Now, he went through a lot. God had to work pretty hard to convince Nebuchadnezzar that he, the God of heaven, is the only one worthy of worship. But Nebuchadnezzar got it right and put himself under God in full submission to the Almighty. Wouldn't it be nice to see today's world leaders do that? get it right, come under the authority of Almighty God, it can happen. It can happen. Nebuchadnezzar was one of the most evil people in the world. And all of a sudden, it took 4 chapters in Daniel, it took a whole bunch of stuff to happen, pretty powerful stuff, and all of a sudden Nebuchadnezzar gets it right. Well, we aren't concerned today about our world leaders as we are about ourselves. How about us? In our lives today, who's God? Are we living in full submission to the Almighty? What is God saying to you about who's in charge of your life? I mean, who do we rely on? When the chips are down, who do we run to? I'm not saying we don't rely on God, but we're moving into some times where if we don't totally rely on God, there's a tree, and there's a chainsaw coming. And I don't know exactly how this is going to go, but what's the most important thing we do? It's gather to be in the presence of God. We've got to keep that right there. Because we get distracted by something going on over here. And so that's why we pray. You know, you ever notice when you're talking? When you're talking to somebody, you should be paying attention to them. And when somebody's talking to you, you should be paying attention to them. You can be better at that. But focused on what we're talking about. We need to stay focused on God. Like I said, Daniel didn't figure things out. God revealed things to Daniel when Daniel was totally paying attention to God. Big time things. Big time things. Who we run to? Let's run to God. Let's pray. Father God, help us, Lord, in all things. In all things, Lord, we, no matter what happens, we run to our knees to be in your presence. Lord, we run on our knees in your presence. Lord, there's nothing in this world that you can't handle. There's nothing in this world that you can't reveal to us. Lord, forgive us when we've tried to figure it out. We've tried to go in our own strength. Lord, we don't have enough strength to do it in our own strength. And let us come to that realization that Nebuchadnezzar came to, Lord, that we are not the end all. You are the end all. You are the all in all. Lord, all these songs that we sing, Lord, make them real for us. Lord, we don't want to just go through the motions and look like Christians. We want to be truly your disciples. Lord, fill us with your Spirit always in your name. Amen.